What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got some very surprising NBA news to be talking about with you guys. Literally some news that just happened like a second ago. I quickly got out of bed because if you didn't know, I actually live in Australia, so right now it's actually 12 o'clock at night, so I had to get out of bed, make this video. But for those of you who haven't seen, Kemba Walker has officially been traded to the Oklahoma City Thunder, and Horford has been traded to the Boston Celtics. This is a huge deal and a trade that I actually called a little bit ago. I made a Kemba Walker video a couple weeks ago, and for those of you who haven't seen it, I did actually call this, as there were reports saying that, Horford was of course going to be getting traded. He sat out the rest of the season, and that his family really wanted him to go back to Boston. Of course, I believe it's his sister's been tweeting about it like non-stop, about how much she loved Boston and all of this type of stuff for Horford, and he's now just been traded back there. And of course, if you didn't know, this is all being reported by Woj, the GOAT. So again, this is really fantastic news. I think for both sides, the Celtics traded away Kemba Walker, pick number 16, and a 2025 second round pick, while Oklahoma traded away Horford, Moses Brown, and a 2023 second round pick. So I think the reason this is a win-win for both teams is because the Celtics, they don't need that 16th overall pick. They already have a bunch of players that they've drafted recently, like Romeo Langford, Naismith. None of these players are getting like big minutes, and I think they'll look to trade a couple of these players to bring in some more, veteran type of players to come in and help Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, because right now it's just a little bit of a weird situation there where their team's still pretty young, and I think where they are and where they need to be contending, they probably need to go a little bit older and get these veterans in. So of course that 16th overall pick didn't really matter. Kemba Walker, he was just making the team worse. Like, he was taking shots away from Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So getting him, off the team was, I think, a good idea. And of course, the 2025 second round pick, that's literally nothing. Well, of course, OKC did really well in this trade because they basically traded away Horford, who wasn't even playing on their team anymore. A 2023 second round pick, and unfortunately for them, a young center who was actually pretty good towards the end of the season in Moses Brown. But we're able to get a 16th overall pick where they can use to, of course, go and draft a nice young player to the team. And now, of course, they bring in Kemba Walker, who I think could have a very big bounce back year. And the reason I'm saying this is because I think he'll come in to this OKC team. He won't be the number one option, most likely. SGA will probably be the number one option. But again, he'll be the number two option, where his usage rate, which will be so much higher. And I could see him actually getting back to some of that Charlotte Hornets form that, of course, he did have a little bit ago. But, again, on the Boston Celtics, he had a lot of injuries, and he had to play behind Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown as they, were the main shot creators. Even, Gordon Hayward for a little bit was I wouldn't say he was a big shot creator. Of course, I'd still say Kemba, had more of the shot creating opportunities than what Gordon Hayward did. But again, even this year, he just didn't get as much as the ball as I think he should be getting. I don't see Kemba being like a third, star on the team. In terms of him not having the ball, I could see him being like a third star on the team and playing behind like, an Anthony Davis, where he would have the ball more than maybe like AD, but of course AD would be, of course, more effective, like how he kind of is on the Lakers right now. But it is really interesting to see now that I think Kemba could potentially get back some of that old Charlotte Hornets form, which means that if he does, we could potentially be seeing that kind of Chris Paul, retold story in OKC, where they kind of revived, of course, Chris Paul's career. And now I think they could maybe revive Kemba Walker's career, and they'll probably look to, of course, maybe trade him. And again, before I get into more of this Boston Celtics side of, thing, I think what this opens up as well is not only bringing in Kemba Walker, I think a good thing, you bring in the number 16th overall pick, which will be good for them. But I believe this, gives players more of an inclined to actually join them in free agency. I think a lot of players were nervous on joining OKC because they might get traded in the future. Again, I definitely think that was the reason why they probably weren't going to be going out and getting free agents this offseason. They didn't really go out and get any last offseason. Of course, a lot of their players left, like Dennis Schroeder basically requested a trade. A couple of role players like Nerlens and Noel, of course, all eventually left. But now players like John Collins and the one who I'm afraid could actually get a big offer from them in Jarrett Allen could actually join them. Now, if you guys didn't know, I'm a huge Cleveland Cavaliers fan. So if they were able to offer Jarrett Allen a contract, I would be so unhappy because I know OKC have a lot of money and they will probably look to overpay to get a dude like Jarrett Allen. And I know there's rumors there are teams looking to offer $20 to $25 million per season. And I could see OKC actually offering him that, which means the Cavs would have to match it and probably have to overpay him, which would kind of suck. But hey, if OKC got Jarrett Allen now, their team would be starting to look really, really insane. Like Kemba Walker, he'll probably go back to his old form. SGA at shooting guard. Small forward, he got Luke Dort. Power forward, he probably got Pokashevsky. Or maybe they will sign another free agent. Then at center, they'd have like Jarrett Allen. Plus a bunch of cool young guys off the bench. They might not make the playoffs, but I think they would contend for it. And actually be a pretty fun team to maybe watch. But of course, I think the Cavs would definitely match, Jarrett Allen. But they are in the markets now to get a center. If they can't get a center, I think they'll offer John Collins a deal. And the Atlanta Hawks will probably not be matching that if it's about a $30 million per season contract. While for Boston, this is a very, very good win for them. As now, I think the foundation is set out on what they will be going and doing in free agency. Now that they don't have a point guard, I think it's pretty obvious who they're going to be offering a huge deal to. Of course, I believe Al Horford's on about $26 million. So again, you probably save like maybe $6 million, as I believe Kemba was on the full max. I think he was on about $32 million, so you probably save about $6 million. Fournier, they'll bring back. But, there'll be a lot of players. They'll be trading all of their young players and going out and just signing veterans on a minimum. It should save them a little bit of money. I think what they're going to do is, I think they're going to actually go and do a sign and trade to get Lonzo Ball now. Lonzo Ball, it's rumors he does not want to go and play for the Pelicans anymore. I think his perfect fit would be the Chicago Bulls because, of course, Kobe White can play his more natural position, I think, off the bench, being a six-man high profile scorer, while they desperately need defense and playmaking, which I think Lonzo Ball can, of course, add. And then again, once all of that is, pretty much done and all out of the way and whatnot, I think if the Chicago Bulls can't get him, then I think the Boston Celtics will be next up. And basically what they'll do is, if he requests a trade, which he probably will, they will be offering, some sort of deal. Of course, we do know that the Pelicans are really going to be wanting to try and get rid of Steven Adams. So they're probably going to be in the market for a center. I think Tristan Thompson would actually be pretty nice for that team. I think he would be nice because he could play backup behind, Jackson Hayes and maybe teach him some stuff. And he's on about an $8 million deal. So they'd probably offer like Tristan Thompson, Romeo Langford, and a first round pick for like Lonzo Ball. Of course, the contracts probably wouldn't match up, but that's just an example. They'll, of course, try and find a way to do this. And let's just say they do offer Lonzo Ball up, and then now they bring back Evan Fournier in free agency. They get Lonzo Ball, bring back Fournier. Their team will be looking absolutely insane. Jabari Parker, who actually impressed for them towards the end of the season, I think he'll be back as like a scorer off the bench. They could be looking at a starting five that looks like Lonzo Ball at point guard, who won't take shots away from Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. You have Evan Fournier at shooting guard, Jaylen Brown at small forward, Jason Tatum at power forward, with Al Horford, I think, would start at center. And then off the bench, you would have Marcus Smart, Peyton Pritchard, Robert Williams, Grant Williams, and Jabari Parker, and whoever else they maybe go out and get in free agency. I'm sure they'll be looking to get quite a bit of veterans. So again, this could be a very, very good thing for the Boston Celtics and OKC. I seriously don't think I can find an actual loser in this, which is really, really cool, in my opinion, not to see a loser in this trade. I think both teams will actually go on to win this, and I'm extremely excited now to see how, of course, Kemba Walker will now go in this Oklahoma City Thunder uniform, and how Al Horford will go in returning to the Boston Celtics. How cool will all this be? And I wanted to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for the latest NBA content and NBA news. Of course, don't forget to comment in the comment section down below. What are your thoughts and opinions on this trade? Do you guys like it? Do you guys think it was good? Do you guys think it was bad? Of course, I definitely would really like to know all of your thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel, MIRL/long channels. And don't forget to check out my podcast as well if you haven't already, which I will all link in the description down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.